Let's rank all 28 troops from worst to best to see which troops you should be using after the balance change update. Let's start in the F tier where the Barbarian and Goblin reside. They're just not as good to use, and often there are just better options for troops. Next is the D tier where we see the Archer, Wallbreaker, and Giant. All of these troops are amazing at lower tunnel levels, and they also have niche options at higher tunnel levels, which range from being cleanup troops or even to tank for siege machines. Next, we move to the C tier where we have the Golem staying within. The Golem is still a decent tank. Despite how early you get it, it's going to be relatively niche. It's still a fairly solid unit at lower tunnel levels, but as you go higher and higher up, it's harder to justify using it over other tanks that either offer more or are just far cheaper. Additionally, the Bowler is going to remain in the C tier. The Bowler still remains a decent option, especially at lower tunnel levels where it can be used within the CC or even within Bowwitch armies, but it's still not as strong as it used to be, and with the increase in splash damage defenses at higher tunnel levels, we're seeing less usage of this fragile troop. Next is the B tier, as these troops are still quite good in different armies across all tunnel levels, starting with the Miner. The Miner is still a very solid troop past Town Hall 10, but is rather locked to mostly Queen Charge hybrid armies. Despite this, it's great to use as well for cleanup due to it burrowing underground and being relatively cheap to train. Moving up from the C tier to the B tier is the Pekka. While this troop used to lack a lot of power thanks to other high DPS, high HP units existing, the Pekka found a new boost in power thanks to the buff to the Earthquake boots, making them viable once more. Staying within the B tier is the Baby Dragon. This troop is still a fairly decent choice for funneling thanks to its cheap cost, but also the nice rage effect when left alone. Despite this, it can easily be countered by Seeking Air Mines if you're not careful, and can sometimes be replaced with a different funneling unit. But what can't be replaced is using my creator code CORRUPT to support me and everything I do here on the channel. Also staying within the B tier is the Wizard. This troop really hasn't changed all too much. It's still fantastic for cleanup or funneling thanks to its 4 housing space cost, making it pretty flexible to put into different armies, but it isn't always something that you want to bring. Now we move to the A tier, where these troops are very solid for a wide range of armies at all Town Hall levels, starting with the Hog Rider. The Hog Rider is still a very solid unit, especially for different attacks like Twin Hogs or even Hybrid. You can even use it to scout for traps, Teslas, or even lure out the CC troops. It's gotten even better though thanks to the Life Gem buff. The Dragon Rider is moving up from the B tier up into the A tier. This troop is quite solid, with its main use being within dragon armies. However, you can use it with its own Queen Charge Dragon Rider army, and can even be a good pairing with the Druid thanks to the Rage Gem and its ability to hit air units. The Dragon Riders offer a nice blend of being tanky and also doing some serious damage. Also moving from the B tier up into the A tier is the Minion. It is one of the best cleanup troops in the game due to it being an air troop, obviously, along with its fast attack speed and cheap cost, making it a solid unit in nearly every army. Additionally, we have the Lava Hound moving from the B tier up into the A tier. The Lava Hound has some great utility outside of Lavaloon that make it a solid choice. Using it to tank for the Battle Blimp, Dragons, or even Electro Dragons are all good options that make it a solid choice, especially considering it has high HP. We also have the Root Riders moving from the S tier down into the A tier. The Root Riders have been nerfed several times, including troops around it that make it less than an OP option. But despite this, they are still very good and can still be used in a wide variety of strategies or within the CC at lower Town Hall levels thanks to its ability to break walls and tank. We also have the Valkyrie moving from the S tier down into the A tier. Similar to the Root Riders, they are still very good despite their HP nerf. Currently, the focus on tanks has pushed the Valkyries a bit more on the sideline, but can still be used with the Root Riders and Druids to make them a super strong trio, or if you just want to use Mass Valkyrie, it's still very dang strong. We're also seeing the E-Drags move from the S tier down into the A tier. It's still a solid troop, but can be quite difficult to use. Its main use case is as an air spam troop and can be good on some bases, but bad versus others. But you can also use it to provide support by funneling an area of clumped up buildings due to its chain attack. Another troop staying within the A tier is the Ice Golem. Not much has changed about this troop other than being a cheap tank that can get great value due to its temporary nature and having a freeze upon its death, making it very solid in a wide variety of armies that it's needed in. Also staying within the A tier is the Witch. The Witch is still a great unit at lower Town Hall levels as it can help overwhelm defenses, but as you go past Town Hall 14, it becomes a lot harder to justify using due to the influx of splash damage defenses, making it more difficult to justify using it. Additionally, the Yeti is staying put within the A tier. The Yeti is still a pretty solid tank that has some very strong uses and can be quite flexible if you're using him to funnel or within a blimp to bomb a part of the base. Overall, this troop is still quite fun and is still strong to use within a nice variety of armies. Now we get to the S tier, as these are some of the best troops right now, starting with the Healer. This troop has always been useful to have in a nice subset of armies, considering it makes queen charges and warden walks possible, while also providing support for troops like super witches or the apprentice wardens to stay alive through a lot of DPS when paired up with a rage spell for excellent healing. Also staying within the S tier is the dragons. Now, despite hard mode existing, making dragon spam utterly useless, it's still very strong in the base game and will still be a solid choice for casual players who really want something easy and reliable. Also staying within the S tier is the Balloon. A must-use troop for any army that contains a decent air unit like E-Drags, Baby Dragons, Healers, or even the Battle Blimp. It allows you to seek out Seeking Air Mines along with using them in their own army with the Lava Hound, or even using them with 2 to 3 clone spells and a rage spell for a huge bomb within the core of the base or around the town hall. Overall, it makes them a strong troop with a plethora of use cases. The Headhunter is also moving from the A tier up into the S tier. This is a must-use troop in really any army, as it provides a way to remove the enemy heroes from play without worrying about them, considering the Headhunter's main objective is heroes, and you can pair that with the Warden's Eternal Tome to get them safely there. You mainly should be using this with defense targeting troops, but you can use this with any army to speed through those enemy heroes. The Electro Titan is also working from the A tier up into the S tier. The Electro Titans have gotten a major buff thanks to the Earthquake Boots becoming one of the best equipment in the game, and has surged the Electro Titans back into the meta as they provide excellent tanking, DPS, and the ability to not use a poison spell thanks to the aura damage hitting both air and ground units. This has made them a lot more flexible and a lot more viable despite their 32 housing space cost. The Apprentice Warden is also going to be staying within the S tier. This troop really doesn't need any introduction, as its ability to give your tanks like Root Riders, Electro Titans, or even your heroes more HP for free to basically help them work through the core and throughout the base, which can really be helpful. Additionally, with the use of multiple Apprentice Wardens, you can pull off a pretty dangerous Apprentice Warden charge with healers. And arguably the best troop in the game, the Druids are staying within the S tier. The Druids have taken the #1 spot due to their insane healing that it can provide. And while they did get a nerf to how many units it can target, it will often still provide excellent value. This power of healing, despite the 30-second time limit you have with it, is so dang powerful under a rage spell or the rage gem, as it gives the druids so much healing, and with their 16 housing space costs, it makes them a great troop to use in a majority of attacks. And let's not forget about their bear form that can do even more work and provide even more tanking, giving you a lot of flexibility. So here is the version 2 tier list for troops after the balance changes. Be sure to screenshot it to share with your clanmates. Other than that, you might want to check out my huge Super Witch Smash guide if you want to learn the best attack strategy in the game right now.